I never considered myself a troublemaker. I'm the kind of guy who pays his dues on time, waves at the neighbors, and mows the lawn before it even thinks of getting too long. But last December, I became public enemy number 1 in Oakwood Pines, all because of a 6-foot inflatable snowman. It started the first weekend of December. My wife Karen and I are not big decorators, but we try to do something nice for the holidays. Nothing wild, just lights along the eaves, a wreath on the door, and yes, our beloved Frosty on the lawn. It's tradition. Our kids loved it growing up, and now that we were empty nesters, we've kept it going just for the memory of it. Though 7 or so years ago, we got a larger one that the little kids like to stop and stare at with their big eyes. But this time, 3 days after we set everything up, I got a stiffly worded letter from the HOA. Holiday decorations not in compliance with Oakwood Pines aesthetic standards. Remove immediately. I thought it was a mistake. Maybe they meant someone else. I called the HOA office, and after 15 minutes of being transferred around, a board member named Stan finally got on the line. Stan had the personality of a brick and told me, flat out, that inflatable decorations are not allowed as they disrupt neighborhood visual harmony. Visual harmony? It's a snowman, not a rave party. And since when has it not been allowed? We've been putting it up for a donkey's years. I explained that we'd had Frosty on our lawn for the last 7 years. No one complained before. Stan said rules were rules and hung up before I could finish my sentence. Now I was mad. At first, I took Frosty down just to avoid a fine. But the more I thought about it, the more it ate at me. Who were these people to tell me what kind of joy I could put in my front yard? So, I started reading the HOA bylaws. Boring stuff, but buried in the fine print, I found a loophole. Decorations weren't allowed to pose safety risks or create excessive noise. Nothing about snowmen. Nothing about inflatables at all. So I put Frosty back in his place. Then I printed it all out and sent it all to Lord Stan the High and Mighty. I even sent pictures of past years, showing Frosty smiling happily on my lawn, without causing riots or property damage. I posted the entire thing on the community chat group too. I got many responses from people who had also received violation warnings from the HOA, so I asked that we all go to the HOA office on Saturday morning to get some answers. Stan finally responded then, asking people not to pay me any mind, calling me a troublemaker, and awarding me the title of public enemy number 1. I told him I'd wear it proudly if it meant getting him to reverse the citations and letting us enjoy our holiday. Well, the next Saturday, there was a small crowd at the entrance, made up of all the people who had gotten a violation letter. One woman wasn't allowed to hang lights on her porch rail. Another guy got fined for a nativity scene. They were all fired up. It looked like Snooty Stan was handing out letters like candy at a kiddies party. Well, I joined the crowd and demanded that he come on out and address us all. When he did, together with 1 or 2 other board members who we paid to keep our HOA running and not to harass us, we all demanded to know what had changed between this year and the previous years. Turns out this guy, Stan, had decided, without a board vote mind you, to crack down on visual clutter this year, and he decided to do it after the last HOA meeting before Christmas. He thought it made the neighborhood look cheap. Well, we waited for the first HOA meeting of the following year and unanimously gave him the boot. The board reviewed the decoration rules and officially allowed seasonal decorations within reason, including inflatable displays under 12 feet tall. Frosty came back out the next December. The grandkids were thrilled. So were the neighbors. The next week, someone put a giant inflatable menorah in their yard. Across the street, the Jacksons added a singing Santa, and I just smiled every time I saw them. Score 1 for the little guy with the top hat and carrot nose, and 0 for Stan.